And there's more proof today that we could be entering a sort of new Cold War here. U.S. officials are now accusing Russia of violating a landmark 1987 arms control treaty. Intelligence sources now confirming that Russia has tested prohibited mid-range ballistic cruise missiles. And the New York Times says it, quote, is the most serious allegation of an arms control treaty violation that the Obama administration has leveled against Russia. NATO's top commander also says the issue demands a response. The White House sent a tersely worded letter to Putin yesterday, pressing for high-level dialogue on the matter. Now, here's more information about that treaty. In 1987, President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev agreed to ban American and Russian ground-launched ballistic or cruise missiles capable of flying 300 to 3,400 miles. The decision helped seal the end of the Cold War, and it has been regarded as a cornerstone of American-Russian arms control efforts. The U.S. has notified Russia and plans again to discuss the issue to get Russia back on track and into compliance with that intermediate-range nuclear forces treaty, but will it be enough? Meantime, back here at home, the issue of immigration reform and the border crisis continue to fester with no solution in sight. And during an exclusive interview with Senator Jeff Sessions, the Alabama Republican tells Newsmax TV that Congress should be more assertive in using the power of the purse to push back against the White House, and any amnesty-style executive order would be, as Senator Sessions put it, excuse me, an incredible assertion of executive power.
It would be an incredible assertion of executive power vis-a-vis Congress and alter the constitutional framework in a way that the founders would never have accepted. Plain law says if you're in this country illegally, you're subject to deportation and you are unable to work lawfully in our country.
Well, on Monday, Sessions also took his effort to thwart the White House's threats of executive orders to the floor of the U.S. Senate. The president has proposed a plan that could grant amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants who have already arrived in the U.S. And now an update on that American doctor and aid worker who have both contracted the Ebola virus. The latest reports say Dr. Kent Brantley, who works for the charity organization Samaritan's Purse, is fighting for his life and is in grave condition. He's suffering from fever, headache, and abdominal pain. Dr. Brantley is in an isolation unit for Ebola patients on the outskirts of Liberia's capital. Yesterday, he wrote in an email that, quote, I'm praying fervently that God will help me survive this disease. A second American aid worker, Nancy Wrightball, has also tested positive. Now in Israel, today, 2 Israeli tank shells hit the only power plant inside Gaza. Also, the IDF hit strategic and symbolic targets like the home of Hamas's leader, as well as Hamas-controlled radio and TV stations. Also, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now telling the world that Israel's war in Gaza will be, quote, prolonged. Israel says that it is defending their people against attacks from Gaza by hitting Hamas rocket launchers, weapons storage sites, and military tunnels. Also back here in the States, 2 U.S. Marshals and 1 New York City police officer are recovering after a shootout with a fugitive in Lower Manhattan. The fugitive was shot and killed after he tried to flee and then engaged these law enforcement officers. Investigators say Charles Mosdier skipped town after being accused of molesting a child. His .32 caliber revolver was recovered at the crime scene. Remember, handguns are illegal in New York City. All 3 of the officers were in stable condition. And in California, a relentless effort is helping limit the spread of a wildfire in Yosemite National Park. The fire burned through more than 4 square miles. So far, it's about 5% contained. However, officials say incoming thunderstorms could either bring in much-needed rain or lightning strikes, which could spark more fires.